Hi everybody, this is Hana Rivas here with Team Elite, where we inspire you to dream big and go bold. Right now we are doing our Think and Grow Rich series. This is the second video to the Napoleon Rich's 30 reasons for failure. So we're going to talk about that. We're here with Vahid once again. Thank you, Vahid, for joining us.
You got it. Good to see you, Hana, again.
Awesome. Let's go right into it because there's a lot of information that we need to dive
Because we covered
into.
the first 10 already,
Yep.
so now we got to cover the next 10.
Yep, so guys, get ready for it. We're going at number 11, lack of controlled sexual urge. It says here, sex is the most powerful stimuli that moves people to action. It has to be controlled, and the emotional energy must be converted into our other channels. So this, when I first read this, I didn't really understand, so I need to elaborate for me too on this one.
So you want me to get in trouble with my wife?
I mean, sorry.
No, I mean, sex desire and that urge for that is a very, very powerful stimuli that we have within our body. It's a good thing, it's not a bad thing. But you got to be able to transmute it and transfer it into right channels. When you use it in a wrong way, then it could actually hurt your career and your business. But what I think individuals need to do is there's a chapter within Think and Grow Rich. I think explaining it for the purpose of what we're doing right now is a long conversation about that. Why men are not successful before age 50, why they can't. I mean, there's so much details of it that we need to do. But it's one of the things that hinders our business if you don't know how to control it. It's just like with anything else. So creating that balance for yourself and being able to use that in the right channel, I mean, that's powerful. That's powerful.
So is that, I think the chapter is called Sex Transmutation,
Exactly.
is that the one?
Exactly.
Okay, so yeah, we will go more into depth for that one, guys. So number 12 is uncontrolled desire for something for nothing. To reach success or achieve any goal, you must provide something in exchange. To always want something for nothing is to have a gambler's mentality that will never reward you in life consistently.
That means you got to put the work in. I know a lot of people that, sometimes when they go into business, their expectation is for clients to just flock in and just, oh my God, flourish, everything. No, that's not the case.
That'd be great.
that would be, I mean, that's what, there's nothing for nothing. So you got to put in the work. If you put in the work, everything will happen. If not, it doesn't work. So it's extremely important that we all understand that in order for me to become successful, I got to put in the time, energy, effort, work, discipline. I got to put all of that in there. The condition must be right without violating anybody's right.
Okay.
So I got to do a lot of work for me to. Now, you could work smarter because working hard is good. Some fields require intense work.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to combine hard work with being also work smart too. So you got to combine that in. But wanting something for nothing and having the mentality that, I open my business only a couple hours a day and I expect to be a millionaire, that's not going to work. So that's the same thing with buying a lottery ticket. You pay a couple of dollars, $4 or $5, and you expect to get a couple of. I mean, it does happen, but the chances of that happening, it's very slim to none. So, but if you put effort into it and you actually go open a business, you might see the result.
Okay, perfect. So number 13 is lack of a well-defined power of decision. Now it says, well, to me, decision, I don't know, does that mean you already had to have the desire, all those things? Like, what does that mean to you?
Well, decision is this. There's a couple of decisions. There's decision in planning. There's decision in executing something. There's decision in wanting to do something in the first place. So the first decision that I would say for entrepreneur, for business owners, it's very important, is deciding to be in business for yourself.
Okay.
When you decide to be in business for yourself, now the other decision comes in. Now, I like to share a little bit opposite of it. Indecisiveness, your inability to make decisions fast enough, is also one of the biggest challenges that a lot of entrepreneurs face. So personally, this is the way I look at it. I'd rather you make a decision and be wrong, but you did it in a very, very, fast speed, versus you not making a decision and holding off for like maybe 6 months to make a decision, or waiting 3 weeks to make one simple decision, right?
Yeah.
I'd rather the decision be wrong, but you made it fast enough and you stick to it. So that's one of the things, is be quick to come up with decisions and stick to that decision that you made. That might be wrong or false and everything else. There might be some consequences because you make the wrong decision, but you made it fast enough.
Yeah.
Again, decisions that don't have to violate anybody else's right. Does that make sense? So you have to make sure you do right by people. But as long as you make decisions fast enough, you'll be able to do it. And let me tell you the story. How Napoleon Hill and Carnegie came about. Carnegie tossed this idea to Napoleon Hill, and he was actually timing to see how long it would take for Napoleon Hill to come up with a decision that does he want to commit the next 20 years to come up with a book, write it down, the philosophy for being, successful. And if he would have if he would have took him a longer time to make that decision, Carnegie wouldn't have probably given him the deal, wouldn't have supported him, wouldn't have given him all the stuff that he had necessary to get the project rolling. So sometimes those decisions are very, very important in our career.
Wow, guys. All right, well, number 14 is one or more of the 6 basic fears. Now, the 6 basic fears, guys, are fear of poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of the love of someone, fear of old age, and fear of death. So how does this relate?
Having those fears, the way I look at it, it's that the way you get rid of your fear is you walk through it. You have to be able to walk through it. And I mentioned this a lot of times. I'm probably going to get in trouble with my wife regarding this. She's afraid of darkness, right? So in my townhouse that we got, first floor is living room, kitchen, and everything else, and the bedrooms are upstairs, right? So anytime we finish up watching a documentary or a movie or something like that, we're about to go to bed, right? I run fast and I turn off all the lights, and she's got to get out of the couch and everything else, and it's like, yeah, I got a big huge fish tank, so the lights are on that, so it's not like pitch dark, but still it's dark. It's darker than what it was when you turn off all the lights. So she's been programmed. I've been working on that. Now I think she's got rid of her fear of darkness. Now she's very smart. She turns on the flashlight on her phone and everything. She's not panicking. Why? Because imagine, we live in California. What if there's an earthquake that happens in the middle of the night? You probably won't be able to get to the door and turn on the lights, or maybe the power will be out. So you walk through your fear. Little by little, you work on it. So that's one of the things that you got to do. Some people are afraid of heights. Just do it gradually. You don't have to do overnight. You don't have to climb Mount Everest and then get rid of your fear. You could do, slowly, one building at a time, one tall building at a time, little by little. So that's with all the fears. Now, I'm afraid of poverty. I have a fear of that, which is not a bad thing. You need to have those fears, right, embedded in ourselves, because sometimes those fears protect us in necessary moments where we got to protect ourselves, right? So that's kind of good to have, right? But you got to work on it. It's you continue.
All right, number 15, wrong selection of a mate in marriage.
Oof.
Let's talk about that. It says it's a sad statistic, but more people in the U.S. are now divorced than married.
Right. It's how do I say this? It's not just about looks. It's not about the social status. It's not about what do you bring to the relationship. You got to look at it. We have lost that touch in our culture in the past 20, 30 years. Back in the days, if you were gonna, you would marry your high school sweetheart. You would hear those conversations. These days, when was the last time any of your friends married their high school sweetheart? I have 0 of my friends. Right? So that's kind of what's been the trend's been going on. If you pick the wrong person for marriage, it could go one or two ways. It could go really good and you get lucky, or it could end up being disaster. If 2 individuals, they're not on the same page. Now, what I mean by that is I don't mean that you want everything that your girlfriend wants, or you want everything that your wife wants. I actually think opposites attract, and I think it's better. My wife is much more mellow. She's much nicer than me. She's more logical than me. So that's good. She brings that side to the family, right? I bring in the aggressiveness. We got to get it done. Now it's speed. Make decisions fast. Make a lot of mistakes, right? Doing it, all that stuff. She'll probably make better decisions. But it's just that, for example, in marketing, she probably doesn't agree with these videos right now. She's probably like, what are you spending your Sundays in the office? So it's okay, right? There are a lot of stuff that I go to her for advice. because I know she has that experience more in those fields, and her decisions are going to be better in those fields, right? So she does the same thing when it comes to this side of the business too. So it's going back and forth, but at the same time, we can disagree and agree on many things, but we still love each other, right? So that's something difficult for a lot of couples. And if you pick the person who's not as ambitious as you, who's not a go-getter or go-giver as much, then you might have a challenge. So definitely don't rush into it. The best way to find that out, that I think, is you find one person, Hannah, and you make it perfect. There's no perfect person out there for you. But they got to come with the basic ingredients. You got to see their background, what do they want to do, and all those things could be revealed based on normal conversations.
Yeah.
So as long as you have conversations, you'll know what they want. But it's marriage is not easy. Getting married is easy. Staying married is hard. So you kind of need to create a balance. And I believe that, just like when Napoleon says, definitely the right partner could definitely make you successful.
Nice.
It could be one of the contributors to your success.
I like that. Good partnership. Now, number 16 is over caution. Although you don't want to be too hasty, you don't want to be overly cautious either. You have to take some chances to achieve big things, but don't go for the Hail Mary every time. So, over caution.
You gotta be a risk taker a little bit in business too. You can't just go very cautiously in every single aspect of the move of, especially for business and entrepreneurship. Now, when we're talking about taking a risk, you should take a risk, but to the amount that you are able to afford. Let's say, for example, I want to go invest. I have $100,000 for my retirement, right? And I love investing stock market, mutual funds. I love it. That's fine, no problem. So maybe what I'll do is I'll take 80% of my assets that I got. I put it in something where it's got not that much risk, right? Then I take the other 20% and I go crazy with it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. But what you want to do is you want to make sure that, be able to take risk, but be able to cover it also too. Keep going.
Nice. So we got number 17, wrong selection of associates in business. Says if you're working to work with others in your business, you want them to be people to uplift you.
Exactly. And what we want to talk about with all of our audience is this. One of the things that we want to share is that you want to surround yourself with positive people. When you have negative people around you, most of the time they're going to probably not influence you in the right way, right?
Yeah.
Also, at the same time, is when you're associating with people that are in your field, you might learn from them. You might gain from their mistakes and their experiences, and they might actually want to partner up with you to be able to grow your business to the next level.
That makes sense. So is that something that you learn throughout time to pick the right people?
I would say so, but if you associate with people that are successful, chances are they are successful people as friends.
Okay.
Right? But you never know. You got to keep your eyes open. So you want to be able to get into those circles of people that, I've had friends that were part of the wrong category. They weren't as ambitious. They didn't want to do, what it takes to build a business. Frankly, they just wanted to be employees.
Yeah.
They settle for $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 and they're happy. They think it's going to be like that, right? But as you and I noticed, a lot of people after 10, 20 years of working in their career, the minute that employer finds someone younger, better looking than you that can do it better, they probably can do it half price.
Yeah.
So you're the first one that's going to go out. So the only constant we got is change.
Yeah.
And you got to anticipate that change. So you want to also be able to, whenever it comes to friendship, you want to also be able to change too. Okay. Meaning if you think that center is no good, you got yourself there and you can get yourself out. Listen, you're not a tree. If you don't like where you at, move.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
You're not a tree, just move.
Very nice.
Right?
Yeah.
It might be a little bit uncomfortable, right? But you are able to move.
Very nice. So let's talk about superstition and prejudice. Now, superstition, right when I hear superstition, I'm thinking ghosts. I'm not really sure what that means. What does that mean to you, superstition?
The way I understood that part is that obviously everybody will have their own opinion on that. But the way I look at it is this. You need to study your industry. By you studying your industry and learning more about it, you'll get rid of that. Just study it. If there's something you don't know, study it, and you'll know. Majority of our fear, majority of all these challenges comes is because we don't know the industry. So the more you study, the more you read about it, the better you're going to do. So that's the way I understood it. The more I studied, I get rid of the superstition. I get rid of all that.
So basically, that's just coming from other people's points of views. So you're saying go to the source.
Go to source.
Okay.
Read the books, read the materials, talk to the people that are authority in that space. Talk to the people that are already mastered it.
Very nice. I like that. Okay, number 19, guys, is wrong selections of a vocation. What does vocation mean? I don't think that
you're in the wrong field of work.
Okay.
What you're doing for a living might be wrong, right? Now, how are you able to determine that? Most of us, I believe, will be able to detect it if we're in the wrong field of work, right? It's like thinking about it. Obviously, when I was growing up, when I went to middle school, high school, I always wanted to become a physician. I wanted to become a doctor.
Yeah.
Right. So I went to UC Riverside and I did biomed over there for the first couple of years, and I thought that's what I wanted to do, till I actually got the chance of what it is to go to hospital, what it is to deal with sick people, what it is to be able to genuinely want to help people, right? I saw that and it was like very draining. Coming across sick people all the time. I mean, you feel for them, right?
Yeah.
And as a physician, you want to help them, but some of the stuff has to take its course, right? So seeing that and how some of these physicians have come, used to that, I couldn't see myself doing that. So that would have been a wrong vocation for me. That would have been a wrong field for me to go into. And I'm glad that, all my family's been doing business for the longest, and I had that background, and that kind of helped me to make that transition. So I'm much more happier for it. Even though I have a lot of respect for physicians, I don't know if I could do that. Now, my sister did that. Obviously, being a doctor is really good for her. She loves it. My wife, she's an attorney. I don't think I could have done that. I would have probably not been able to serve my clients' best interest because I'm always being fair. But you and I understand that in criminal cases, most cases, I mean, there's no fairness in that. Most of the times, good people get hurt, right? Now, you try to cover that, but you just got to find your passion.
Yeah.
What is it that you like to do? Get passionate, put all your energy into that, and you'll flourish. Don't do something because some other people told you to do it. Don't do it because your mom and dad want you to become a doctor. Don't do it because your mom and dad think that this is the right field for you. No, you make your own decision for your future. Because you have to show up to work every day.
Yeah.
Not them. You have to show up.
I like that. Now, just a question on that. Would you suggest for people starting out, if they start working, they're in high school, they're thinking about what they want to do, to try multiple things?
Internship. Let's say I wish I would have had that option, Let's say, for example, you want to open a business in the printing world. Let's say you want to open a print shop. What I would say is, why don't you go and be an apprentice? Why don't you just go and work at a place for maybe 10, 20 hours? And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of places that if you want to do free labor, you'll be able to go over there and work for free. So just show up over there and go work for free and get the feel for it. Get the hands-on experience. What does it take to open a print shop? And then you'll know if that's the field you want to go. See if there are any improvements. See if it's an obsolete industry to go in. See if there's a potential. See if there's somewhere that you can improve on. So that's with everything. Internship, go work for free, see what happens. That might help out.
Very nice. So to conclude this, we got one more. Number 20, lack of concentration of effort. It says, you don't want to try and master too many things all at once. Become a specialist before you branch out into other things, because a jack of all trades isn't very good at anything.
That's it. Don't be jack of all trades. Right now, we're going to focus on producing a lot of videos. We're not going to do tweeting every single day. We're not doing Snapchat every day. Our goal right now for the next 6 months is to make sure that we have our video series, and we're going to focus on that till we get that done. Now, simultaneously, we're going to be looking at other platforms and set the plans in motion to be able to expand in those platforms. But we can't do everything. Like, for example, myself, I'm in financial services. Do I do other businesses on the side? Yes, to the extent that will not jeopardize what I'm doing, my main thing. So as long as you keep the main thing, everything else will be fixed. Don't try to do 50 different things at one time. No, then you won't be able to master it. You physically will not have time to do everything. So now you're setting up yourself for failure.
Wow, guys, I think that's a really good place to leave off. This is the second video of our 3-part series. We are going to do the last one. So that one, I think there's some juicy ones in there. So if you like this video, please like our video. If you have any questions for us, we're on YouTube, Instagram.
And have them comment on it. If anybody wants to comment on some of the stuff that they had, like they agree, disagree, we love to hear your opinion because this is an open-ended subject. So put whatever you on comment, and then hopefully we can learn from you also too.
Awesome, guys. And we're teamelitezone.com, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys the next time. Take care.
Take care.